featuring on Cannon Fodder. Now, if you could, no, yeah, if you could see here, click the like button, and below that, at Cannon Fodder TV and Guna Matters. If you did not subscribe yet to Guna Matters or to Cannon Fodder, please do so. I am nervous for the first time, and also I am very much excited, if that is even a controversial situation that I find myself in. But I hope you enjoyed Alex's video before, like an hour or two ago. It was a very hyped up and fired up ranting from the main man, Alex. So here to my right or to my left, you can obviously get into the live chat. So we are streaming simultaneously on Cannon Fodder TV and Guna Matters. Now you're going to ask me, Glenwyn, why are you nervous? Look, things might be said in this video that a lot of Arsenal fans might not agree with, or they might agree with me, and I know a handful that's on these platforms that will agree with me by saying these things. But before we go any further, I don't think Alex will mind me if I can do this after this music intro. Welcome back. It is Glenwyn featuring Cannon Fodder. Now, I only have one segment, but it consists of two individuals. Now, I'm not going to delay it any further. This is the thumbnail, and it says the transfer. Let me take this away. Let me just take that away. Transfer Ruthlessness. I should also be out there. I should be away. Yeah. Transfer Ruthlessness. Now, it's either we are ruthless or we lack the ruthlessness. Now, we're going to get into the first individual, Richard Garlick. Richard Garlick is obviously, as most of us know, he's the sporting or director and of operations. So he deals with all the contracts, the designs of the contracts, the sort of the meat in which the contract is made of, if for the lack of a better word. So that is his role. So his role is purely to look after the current guys or the current team, to renew their contracts and obviously to either improve their contracts or negotiate better or the terms of which the contracts are made of. So that is Richard Garlick. Now, Richard Garlick, I must firstly commend him to say that Saka, Ramsdale, Martinelli, and I think Odegaard, that have signed new extensions on their contracts. And this is where he obviously come in and negotiate with the agents of these players and get them better contracts, because they obviously deserved a bit of contract extensions and improvements. But before I go any further, what I want to say is this. What I'm going to say is not necessarily the viewpoint of this platform, Cannon Fodder. Now, let me show myself when I say this. Cannon fodder obviously allows me to be part of this platform. So whatever will be said from me as Glenwyn Guna Matters, it's not necessarily their viewpoint. So let's get that out of the way. So if anything to be said about this segment, it has to be pointed at Guna Matters, myself, Glenwyn. So as long as we understand that, we're not gonna stone the Cannon Fodder TV or boycott Cannon Fodder TV, but you're welcome to obviously direct all of the things to me as Glenwyn from Guna Matters. So it gets back to Richard Garlick. So yeah, commending for the approval of Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, and Ramsdale, and of course, there's been talks that William Saliba will obviously follow suit because they have, in principle, agreed on a new deal, an extension for William Saliba, with obviously the demands that he has made. So all parties agreed to what they obviously wanted, and all is happy. Now, all that's being said, well done to Garlic, but he's still wagging his tail in terms of getting William Saliba over the line. Yes, he's probably on international duty and thereafter he's going on holiday, but you gotta be ruthless with these players because PSG is standing in line. Among other clubs, is standing in line for William Saliba. I think Juventus was there as well. So you need to obviously get these players over the line as soon as possible because if Saliba don't see any improvement coming from their side, yes, he's agreed, he hasn't signed yet. So that doesn't mean anything. So he has to sign that. And that is where Garlic comes in. He has to make sure that these things are obviously part and parcel of his job to get those things sorted. There's not much to say about Garlic, but he has influence in the decision making when it comes to also the incomings because he has to structure deals together with Vinay and Edu. And this is the part where it's going to get a bit out of hand for me. Don't worry, I won't swear. I won't use words that's not permitted on any platform. Now, Edu, I chose this picture because he looks very worried. I'm not going to repeat what Alex said in his video earlier on. But for a guy that said in his interviews, he said that we are preparing well for this summer, and we have plans for certain things that has to happen in the club. Now, already we had second day of the transfer window opening. We had negative reports of what's happening in the market. And this is the thing where Arsenal don't learn from their mistakes. In the past, I think there was a question asked in one of the videos Alex made. When last did we sign a big player? Or when last did we spend big? A player that did something at the club, that was some sort of a success at the club. And that was in 2013 when Arsene Wenger went to Real Madrid and said, Ozil, come here, my boy, for 45 million. Now, 45 million in 2013 in the transfer market was a lot of money. But we have to come to terms this day and age. everything has been commercialized in football, or rather in sports for that. So Arsenal have to realize that spending is gonna make a difference in your pursuit for titles, for silverware, for whatever achievement that you have planned for. So everybody has gone about a couple of seasons ago, trust the process. And a lot of us maybe said, why must you trust the process if we can't finish higher than eighth? So it happened, we finished higher than eighth. And of course, we finished fifth. And then last season just passed, we finished second, the only team to have challenged for the title. Now, Edu, in my opinion, is playing games, and that frustrates the fans. And if you look at the thumbnail, that the club is the fans, that is where Arsenal are not getting it right. We need to be ruthless in the transfer market. Now, this is the scenario that I have in my mind. You want a player. In this case, it is a player, Declan Rice, for £100 million. West Ham don't want anything less. And that was obviously proven today that 80 million plus 10 million add-ons has been rejected from West Ham today. They want 100 to 120 million. Now, Edu and Richard Garlick have to work together in constructing a deal to make it happen. I heard yesterday on another platform that this person spoke to an agent, and this agent told him that Rice wants to come to Arsenal. And because of that, this is now not evidential. This is not real facts. This is just what we hear in the rumors and in the media out there. And this particular agent said that Rice wants to come to Arsenal. And because of that, the speculation is that Arsenal is taking their time in order to get Rice, but you can't do that. Today we heard that Manchester City is sussing out this whole play of what's happening in the market for Rice, what's happening with Arsenal. Already a bid has been rejected, and they waiting to put their clause onto the Rice signature. And that is where Arsenal lack the ruthlessness, or let me put it this way, that is where Edu, as sporting director, missing the point. He's sitting the pot miss. He's deluded in thinking that he's going to get it right. Now, a lot of guys apparently they say that Arsenal is still in their first in the race for Declan Rice. That doesn't mean that the player is coming to Arsenal. Edu has to get up off his horse, and he has to go and say, "Here you want 100 million. Here's the 100 million." And a lot of people might think that Glenwen or Gooder Matters, you silly by saying that. Yes, the player. I'm not saying the player is worth 100 million. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that Declan Rice is the priority. And if Declan Rice is the priority, what must you do to get him? You have to go to the lengths to get him. You need to take out the checkbook and make it 100 million and say, West Ham, here's your 100 million. Declan Rice, here's your shirt, sign on the dotted line, because apparently personal terms will not be an issue. That is what we hear in the media, in the mainstream media, all rumors here and there. Now, Edu lacks the ruthlessness. I've been joking on the platform that Edu out, Edu out, Edu out. At the end of the day, we as fans have to make our voices heard. Whether they're going to hear it or whether they're going to listen to what we as fans are saying, that remains to be seen. But if Arsenal say that Rice is the top priority, then we have to be ruthless in making it happen. We failed in January for our top target to go over to the blue side of London. We are the Arsenal. If we know what Arsenal means, it is something to do with equipment for war, which is military equipment. That is the Arsenal. That is Arsenal in a nutshell. You are going to war. You are going to perform an Arsenal in the Premier League per se. So why are we not doing what our name really says it's supposed to happen? We have a cannon on our badge. Most of our logos are cannons. We have a platform, cannon fodder, TV. Everything that Arsenal stands for is something to do with going to war. So why can't we go to war in our pursuit for our top targets? I don't agree that Declan Rice is the ultimate player that we have to sign. But what I will say is that he is the top target, the top priority in the eyes of the the guys who does the scouting, the guys who wants the players, who setting out the projects, the process, all those type of things. Those are the people who decides who's their top target. Now, if we can't even go out there, go to war with a Chelsea, with a Man United, with a City, with a Liverpool, for Pete's sake, with Brighton, we can't go out to war with these guys to get our top targets. So what's the point of having these top targets? Then you might as well take that 180, 200 million that you have a war chest of and go for your smaller players and then build your team. And don't say that you are in a process or this is a project that you are busy with. Let it then be. Let us become an average club, but don't be delusional or try to show the fans that this is the ambition that you have and not having those ambitions. So it frustrates a lot of Arsenal fans because it happened before January. It happened the last winter transfer of 21-22. Vlahovic, we spent the whole January on reporting on this rumor that Vlahovic is our top target. Lo and behold, we got nobody. It took us that whole window to talk about Vlahovic, this Vlahovic, that Vlahovic coming, Vlahovic not coming. It was a bizarre story. And nobody came in, only those that's gone out was Oba and the rest of the deadwood. So you're asking me, Glenwan, is that why you were nervous? Oh my word. I'm calling Edu out. I'm calling Garlic out. And I'm calling Vinay out. Because one of these guys are making the decisions. One of them. Can we blow it up a bit more? Can you see? They are the four stooges. D'Artagnan and the three musketeers, if that's what they want to call them. Edu, Garlic, Vinay, and of course, Mr. Arsenal. Sorry, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do that. So these are the guys who makes the decision. So one of those four guys have it in their mind that Declan Rice is my top target. And besides him, there's an alternative in Moises Caicedo. There's another one, whoever else we are linked with, Kai Havertz. Those are the three players that are been talked about in the mainstream media, in every other platform on YouTube or channel podcast, because this is now being factual, if I can say it's been factual to say that these are the three players that are being talked about and linked to Arsenal. It is Declan Rice, Moises Caicedo, and Kai Havertz. So if we can't get any one of these three, then we've wasted time. We've wasted energy as hosts of podcasts, or whatever else we do, TikTok or Twitter or whatever else. Then we've wasted time. Then Arsenal have wasted our time. And we can't go and waste time. I mean, Alex always say, there's much more better things to do in life than to talk about Arsenal's failures, Arsenal's links, Arsenal's rumors, because it's in and out. Arsenal this, Arsenal that, but we never see the top targets being signed. Now I'm going to go into the live chat for the first time and see who's who in the zoo. And I'm not saying that you're animals, but yeah, I'm just wanna. How do I work this chat here? Let me figure this out. So I'm not on my own platform. I'm clicking on the chat. Why can't I not go into the chat? Why can't I go into the chat? Why? Why can't I go to the chat? I can't go to the chat. Just give me a second. Let me just figure this out quickly. How can I not go into the chat? That's strange. Let's see. Let's look at these four stooges in the meantime. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's guard that. And let me see if I can do it this way. And let me see if I can do it this way. I'm going to put the volume down. All right, I'm going to read it out, but it won't be displayed on the screen really. Canon Fodder TV says, welcome everyone to Guna Matters. Glenwyn, can I ask you to tell us your alternative players you would prefer Arsenal could buy? You know what, Alex? This is something that I would like to have, my wish list. And my wish list is but a few players. I've got a love affect for Sasha Bowie. He's a right back from Galatasaray. He's a French player, very delightful player. He's two-footed as well, like Tomiyasu. and he is very intelligent as a youngster. Now, he's one of the hottest topics in Europe right now, and he's been linked to Arsenal, and he will only cost you about 17 million. And I think we've paid the same amount for Tomiyasu, 17 million. That is our right back, and we need a backup because look what happened to Tomiyasu very, very early in the season. So that is my right back. My left back, which we also would need if Tierney would go, is unfortunately another City player, um, Cancelo, but still he is a bit too much. So I would go for a versatile player, pardon me, in Fresneda, and he can also play on the left, or he can play across the back four. The same with Cancelo. So Fresneda is slightly cheaper than Cancelo. So between the two, obviously, I will go for. And then in the center, it will be a mixture of players. Obviously, you can choose who's the best. Is not the best. Who's the player that probably suit Arsenal more? It is Lavia from Southampton. It is Amrabat from Fiorentina, and it is Onana from Everton. That is your defensive midfielders. And then, of course, I would also include Eze from Crystal Palace. Now, these players, most of them obviously have Premier League experience already. And of course, the youngster from PSV that has given us such a hard time in the Europa League last season is Simmons, or whatever way you want to pronounce his name. That boy, um, pardon me, is a right winger to obviously back Saka. Or then, of course, then there's SMS, which you asked me last night. Who is SMS? Is Sergei Milinkovic Savic. That is the SMS that I've been speaking of. And of course, another two strikers. And I would go, like I said last time on Cannon for the Easy Talk, is that I would go for Ivan Toney. Because Ivan Toney has been banned for 8 months. Now, there's already 2.5 months of football not being played, which is now half of May, June, and a bit of August. So essentially, you won't be playing football for 5 months. You'll be back in middle January. So Ivan Toney, I will put him on my books now, and it will give us the upper hand for negotiations, because I don't think Brentford would want to sit with all that scandalous news and stuff. But I think Ivan Toney would be my number one striker to get onto our books. When come January, we would need somebody to put in goals for us. We would need somebody to hold up the ball for us. We would need somebody to obviously be that call upon player. Because depending on where we're sitting on the log in the Premier League, where we are in the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup or even the Champions League, we are going to need a player like Ivan Toney. And that is just to name a few of the players to answer your question, is that those are the alternative players that I would put in. And they're going to be much cheaper than the 80 million and 120 million that Brighton and West Ham wants for these two players. I mean, if we take those two players, it's a 200 million deals already. And there's our war chest gone. And where's the rest of the other players coming? Yes, we're going to have a bit of sales here and there, but it's not going to make up for the positions that we need. So, yeah, I don't think that is going to be wise. And therefore, I say the lack of ruthlessness in our sporting director and his friends. They need to be ruthless in the market. They need to, if you want Rice, go get Rice. Because I tell you what, City is now watching the situation. If City sees that Arsenal are failing and they put up 100 million, guess what? West Ham is going to accept that 100 million. It's pointless for us to go through this periods and thinking that we're gonna get the alternative. The alternative is not always the best thing. If you want to be, if you want to make a statement in the Premier League, you have to go for the big guns, as you say, it's the big guns. So yeah, that is the players that I will alternatively have, and let me see here. Let's continue. English Conversation Club, bro. What's happening, Guna Matsis? Yes. Good evening to you, Mr. English. Glenwyn, can I ask you? Okay, there. I've said that. Good evening, English from Cannon Fodder. The assembled, his message was retracted, and I can't read his message. Eunice Sabdo, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name correctly. Does Arsenal plot Declan Rice or interested withdraw out kindly? We need more about the transfer market. Not sure what you mean by that, but if I understand it correctly, if Arsenal don't get Declan Rice this week, walk away, because we can't go a whole transfer window again with one player on our top of the list. No, you should have done your due diligence prior to Declan Rice, prior to Moises Caicedo. You need to have a plan B, plan C. I've been saying this for the longest time. You have a plan A. If it doesn't work, you implement B, C, D, up into Z, because at the end of the day, if you put all your eggs in one basket, in the rice basket, you know what's going to jump out? Nothing. So, yeah, hey, man. I think my heart is still okay. So, Eunice, I'm not sure if that is what you alluded to, but I won't still continue with the Declan Rice saga. Still 2 days to go. You know what? But we need to get it done early, because tomorrow is in England squad. Monday is on England squad. Thereafter is going to go on holiday, and then what? We want to go on our preseason tour. We want to play and have a good preseason, and having a good preseason will obviously determine where we're going to end up again in the league. So Arsenal will never win anything because of the lack of spending. Chelsea, we all know how Chelsea performed and what stance they had in London or even in Premier League before the Russian billionaire Abramovich has taken over there. So in essence, people are saying that Chelsea bought their their success. To an extent, I say because they spend a lot of money, therefore they were successful. The same with Manchester City. Manchester City is not a big club; they're just a successful club. But after the Qataris, obviously, or the Etihad family or whoever they are, has bought in, taken over from the previous owners, made City a club to be reckoned with. They became ruthless in the market. They spent, they got the players. So, yeah, I don't know what is going to happen with Arsenal. And then, of course, the assembled. Xhaka won't be sold until a replacement is found. There's a conundrum. And I agree with you, because we have to replace him. And if we don't have a signature that said, I am the replacement of Xhaka, he won't go anywhere. And then we will sit with the legend again. John, the Guna, your legend, not my legend. If John is even watching. Bid rejected in the morning. How is it functional now? Eunice, I've said it. we've done it before. We put in a bid for what, 70 million or 65 million for Moises Caicedo in January, and Brighton said no. Then we opted for 80 million, I think, and Brighton still said no, because they knew they're not going to sell the player in January, because they needed him to fight for European football, and they have European football. The same with Mykhailo Mudryk. We made an offer for Mudryk. They rejected the offer, knowing that Chelsea is lurking in the backside. And of course, it became a war. And Chelsea bid 100 million. Arsenal bid, in fact, close to 100 million. But only when they saw Chelsea as part of the bidding war. I would have walked away long before Chelsea even came to that point, because you could see that Sparta only wanted more money. And the same with West Ham. West Ham is not going to say yes to a 90 million. West Ham is not going to say yes to a 95 million. All depends on the structure of the deal, how you construct that deal, and how you negotiate that. If you have to give a player, give Partey 80 or 90 million with Partey. There, go. Cheers, Partey. You done well for half a season. Go. We don't need you anymore. Cheers. Yes. If you want a player, take Partey, midfielder. A direct change for Declan Rice. So construct the deal properly. Cannon Fodder says, good evening, bro. Assemble, do you still think Arteta is the weakest link? Please let him not answer that, Alex. Evening to you, bro. Me from Kenya, and you kindly. Oh, Eunice, you from Kenya. Well done. Thank you. Welcome to Cannon Fodder and to Guna Matters. Make sure, if you did not subscribe yet, or click the like button and subscribe to Guna Matters and Cannon Fodder simultaneously. Edu Gasper make us to fail, Liz. Sorry, I missed something. Cannon Fodder is asking Eunice, should we be looking to sign Declan Rice? In fact, Edu Gasper make us to be failures, Eunice is saying. We need to be champions. Arsenal need more active and energetic players, right? He must be held accountable, Alex is saying. Who must be held accountable, Alex? I'm not sure who you're referring to. Alex is saying, Eunice, which players, bro? Okay. Okay, we shall wait. We're waiting them until transfer window shut up. Eunice, Edu can't buy anyone unless Kroenke gives him the money and Arteta gives him the nod to go for them, in my opinion. Now, that's an interesting statement that the Assemble is making there, is that Edu can't sign anybody until he's gotten the money from the Kroenkes and Mikel Arteta has said, yes, go for it. So if Declan Rice is the player that the nod was given about, and there is money, so why is Edu not making that happen? Surely we received the money from the Kroenkes. Some says 180, some says 200, some says 250, whichever amount it is. Arteta has given the nod, I'm sure, and yet the player has not been signed. So who is at fault? Can somebody answer that to me? Who do you think, between these four stooges, who are the one that is the wrong one? Who's making the decisions in saying that we cannot get this player. To be honest, Alex is saying Arsenal will need at least 5 players this transfer window. I agree. Like likes of Declan Rice, Moises Caicedo, Ilke. You know what, Eunice, you make points that everybody wants is the players, and these players cannot always be uh, they are available, but they're not always the ones that we get. Because again, I'll bring it back to the point of earlier. We want the top target. That is what we want, but we rather settle for the one below. So that doesn't make sense to me. So why waste your time in really pursuing a top target? Why waste your time to really go and make effort to get these guys? Um, Eunice, Alex is saying these players will cost over 200 million. Yeah. So the main problems that we're suffering is from Kroenke's management. Of course, we're suffering from the Kroenkes. If they spending so much money, and I mean, there's Colin and DWTT can vouch for the fact that the Kroenkes are investing in the other sports franchises. I mean, why did you think the Rams won the Super Bowl last year? Why did the Nuggets win the NBA now? Because they spend the money on the players they wanted. I mean, for the Rams, he bought what, 2 or 3 players that helped them win the Super Bowl. So why can't he do it to Arsenal? Alex is saying, good point, Gunnar Matters. City need replacements for Bernardo Silva and LK when they leave. Man City pays the 100 million and we lose him. Of course we will lose him because all they want is now a yes from PSG for Bernardo Silva and a yes or not Barcelona. I mean, LK is anyway leaving. His contract is finished. So, you know what? If Arsenal don't sign Declan Rice by the next week, end of next week, then he's not going to come to Arsenal. He's not going to come to Arsenal. To me, after 17 years, Arsenal fans in diehard are one again. To my hopes, things are not good around the loophole. But what does it mean, Eunice? Does it mean that we can get the players that we want, irrespective of whether the fans and the players in the team are in the togetherness stage? That can change easy. If we don't get the Declan Rice, if we don't get the Moises Caicedo or any particular top target that we so spoken of, the fans can turn around and say, Arteta out, Kroenke out, Edu and Garlic out. So it doesn't make anything right to create a camaraderie and an environment on at the Emirates if we can't get the players that the club says is our top targets. We need to get those players. Just to remind you guys is to gently click the like button and subscribe to Cannon Fodder, and of course to Guna Matters. We are streaming simultaneously, and I hope you guys enjoying the conversation because you know what, I like the controversy. I like the things that people don't want to talk about. I like to talk about the things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Glenn, when I thought the X-Man was Yole. Hi, 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 hi. Alex, not my legend. No, no, no. He had a good season. I mean, the season before this one passed, I had a challenge on Gunnar Matters with one of the panelists of Gunnar Matters last year. He said Xhaka is going to have a good season. I said Xhaka won't have a good season. I mean, that's the season where Xhaka got all those red cards and that. So he had a good season. I mean, Xhaka didn't get a red card this season. If you look, he probably got what, three yellow cards this whole season. So no legend material. I mean, if you need to get 10 red cards and 5 yellow cards to become a legend at Arsenal. Cannon Fodder saying, at the assembled, yes, but my argument is why let it get to that stage? If you say Rice is your top target, then pay the money in January, of course. Cannon Fodder saying, let get Guna Matters to 180 subscribers. Thank you, Alex. Colin Young, welcome, Guna, welcome. I just finished my barbecue on Sunday. Colin, next time when I am in the US, I will invite you for a barbecue, my man. Edu is really waffling this transfer window, and we are one day in. So my point, is it the lack of ruthlessness, or is it just a showboat? No. The entire fan base has known Declan Rice is our primary target. This all on Edu. Okay, exactly what I've been saying. The assemble said, I'd say we've got 150. 150 is still too little. I mean, if you look at the players that I've mentioned earlier on, just to name a few, how much will Manuel Lavia cost from Southampton? There's no negotiation power. They sort of value him at 45. I won't pay 45 because what is he going to do? He's just going to play in the championship. There's no real value to the player that has been relegated with the team. So I will offer 25, 30 for Elavia. Onana, you'll probably get close to 30. So 150, in my opinion, is still too little, Mr. Assembled. Hey, Alex and Glenwyn. How's it? Just a few more. I don't think this only falls to Edu, Richard Garlic, and Vinay. So that is exactly why I have this picture, Alex, is that these four stooges, all of them have a hand in this pie. Because Mikel Arteta says, I want Rice, I want Moises Caicedo, I want Kai Havertz. God forbid he comes to Arsenal. Kai Havertz, what are you going to do at Arsenal? Get a fat check of 200 a week and sit on the bench and do nothing. Stay at Chelsea. Edu, ask the money from Mr. Stan. Richard and Vinay is preparing and constructing the deals. So if the deals and the construction of the deal for William Saliba was done properly, William Saliba would have signed on the dotted line. And he did not so far. In principle, he said, I will extend my contract 4 years with an extra 12 month at 200 a week. So how is the deal constructed? Why is it not signed yet? So if I'm going to say what I'm going to say next, then I'm probably going to be laughed at. William Saliba will probably not be an Arsenal player next season. Yes, I've said it. Saliba might not be an Arsenal player next season. There you go. Tell your mom. So these four guys all have a hand in the in the failure or the lack of ruthlessness in our transfer market. Yesterday it opened. We heard that Bellingham has gone to Real Madrid by the end of the day. before the transfer window opened, and I see Alex made mention of it. Alexis McAllister to Liverpool for 35 million. I believe, Alex, there was a release clause of 35 million. But I think a release clause binds you to a negotiation. I'm not sure. I'll speak under correction. Maybe somebody can help me in that. A release clause binds you to not be able to negotiate a larger fee because that is in your contract. And I think Liverpool has been clever to go for something like that. 35 million for a World Cup winner and a goal scorer at Brighton, and he makes that midfield better of the current Liverpool squad. And then, of course, Vinay was one of the instigators in the deal today that was rejected. And Tim Lewis, a non-executive member of the club, is sitting in on these negotiations. Why? Why do you have Garlic and why do you have Edu and why do you have Vinay there to do these things? So why must Tim Lewis get involved? Another other bloke that I don't want to talk about. The Assemble says Edu is the fall guy no matter what happens. The real culprits are not known to the public. Silent to the coin, a nickname. Stan and Josh Kroenke. Let's call them out, man. 300 million required minimum on Arteta's 4 picks alone. And then, of course, the Assemble said, Glenwyn, there is a suggestion. Let me see this. There is a surprise coming. You can't count anything out. Be comfortable knowing that Nketiah is safe at 100 per week. Yeah, you and I both know that, man, because he's not going anywhere. He's going to be the top goal scorer next season, I'm sure, with 5 goals. Yes, understood, Glenwyn. But my point is, you just don't see Liverpool or Man City pinching. Exactly, they get the job done. That is the bottom line. Get the job done, and that is what the lack is. That is why I call it out and say that we are not ruthless enough. So now, I want to just touch on my last bit of news with regards to what's the face Edu. Now, Edu's 24 Arsenal signings. There's the misses and there's the hits. The miss hits and the hits. Now, let's start with the miss hits. And I'm gonna give their names and I'm gonna give the amount that we bought them for. Nicolas Pepe, 72 mil. David Luiz, 8 mil. Suarez for free. Mari for 10 mil. Ranesen, 1 mil. Willian for free. Ryan was on loan. Ceballos was on loan. Tavares for 7 mil. Now that is the players Edu brought in, and they were the flops per se. I will repeat, it's Pepe, David Luiz, Suarez, Mare, Ranesen, Willian, Ryan, Ceballos, and Tavares. According to this report, these are the players that are the flops. Now, the guys who somewhat made it, Saliba, 27 million. Tierney, 25 million. Martinelli, 6 million. Partey, 45 million. Gabriel Magalhaes, 27 million. Martin Odegaard, 30 million. Ben White, 50 million. Aaron Ramsdale, 30 million. Tomiyasu, 19.5 million. Jesus, 45 million. Zinchenko, 32 million. And the ones that are with injury or on loan, Sambi Lokonga, 17 million. Pablo Vieira, 34 million. Marquinhos, 3 million. And Matt Ternatina, 8.2 million. These are the apparent players that made it. So I will take a few out there. Lokonga, Vieira, Marquinhos, I will take out. I will put them on the side where the flops are. Anyway, that is just for free. That is to try to justify what Edo is doing, but that can't justify anything. He's still not getting into the top targets. So I think we have come to a point where we are going to land. But let's go to the live chat for one more time. Where am I now? I left it at. Oh, Alex said, yes, Glenwyn understood, but my point is you just don't see Liverpool or City penny pinching. Yes, they are getting the job done. Colin is saying the owners, the board, the club says Arteta is their man, not my man. So they must back their man that got us second. Colin, my man. So you still want Arteta in or still want Arteta out? Or would you want Edu in or you want Edu out? If you had to choose, let me put it to you this way, Colin. If you had to choose the one to stay between Mikel Arteta and Edu Gasper, who would you like to stay? You can answer me that. The Assemble said the object allegedly is to be or is to misdirect the loyal fan base who are desperate for success and they are paying the most to watch the squad fail and fail and fail. That is harsh, yeah? But it's the truth. It is the truth. Our fan base is so delusional to say that we will win the Premier League next season. Colin, are you for real? Arteta in? I knew you liked Arteta. I knew you loved Arteta. Let me put it to that way. People, we come to that point of the end of the show, the end of the road. So yeah, again, please, here we go. Click the like button, subscribe to Cannon Fodder TV and to Guna Matters, and we are streaming simultaneously on both channels, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter simultaneously. Give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell that you will get all the likes, all the notifications, and all the news. Cannon Fodder will be back tomorrow, I'm sure. Alex will be back tomorrow. I'll just watch and I will just be behind the scenes to comment on this and that. Jonathan Okoti, cat. I don't know what you mean by cat. Back him or sack him is what Colin is saying. So you answer the question between between Edu Gasper and Mikel Arteta, which one do you want to stay? And you said Arteta in. And then you say back him or sack him. Yeah. And I want to end with this. Unai Emery is at Aston Villa. And Aston Villa is making their groundway to Villarreal for their sporting director to come to Aston Villa. So if that happens, and if you know what happened at Villarreal, how the players that they got, the quality, the depth, and if this guy comes to Aston Villa, I mean, Aston Villa already did so well. They just missed the European spot. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, for the subscriptions. And I want to thank Alex from Cannon Fodder to allowing me on this platform. If it wasn't for his intervention over the last 48, or yesterday was 48, so today is 72 hours, Guna Matters had 17 or 16 subscribers. So I want to thank you, Alex. Thanks for a lot for your support, and I thank you for this idea that we can stream simultaneously. And all is left to say is that you have watched Guna Matters and Cannon Fodder TV. Am I going that way? I'm going this way. I'm going that way.